are joined by Greg and Ash from Pursuit of the Paranormal podcast. Thanks for joining us. How are you guys?
Hello. Thanks for having us. I'm good. How are you, Greg?
Yeah, very good. Very good, thank you. Yeah, yourselves?
Good. We're good out. We've had a busy day. Busy weekend. Yeah, we were at Newsham last night, Asylum, Park Hospital. Nothing really happened, did it? Quiet, considering the stories that go round.
I mean, the door opened and we had a whistle.
Yeah, they didn't really get much activity, to be fair. I think we went with a group, so there was a lot of noise pollution. Which there always is when you go with these big groups. But it's fine because we did get to wander off on our own, so it wasn't too bad. And then today we went to Pendle, didn't we, to finish off some filming? Yeah, but it was good. So we got that done. Just got to get the video out. So
when's that coming out? When's that out?
Well, you wanted it to be tomorrow, didn't you? But yeah, I wanted it to be tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to be. It's a chunky one. I could have another joke there, but I'm not going to. It's a chunky one, so it's going to take a while. Sorry. Right, let's move on to you guys in here. So I know that you've probably been asked a lot this question, but for anyone who might not have heard of you before, do you want to introduce yourselves? Sort of what you do, what your podcast is about.
Go on then.
Hi. So my name's Ash Ellis. I'm mainly a UFO guy. I started the website called ufoidentified.co.uk about 4 years ago, and we've grown to the biggest database of UFO sightings in the UK, as well as putting on community events and conferences in the UK. Over the past couple of years, I've had some experiences in the past. I had UFO experience when I was 10, and more recently I've had a couple more paranormal ghostly experiences, which has opened me up to that side of things over the past 5 years or so. And then I met Greg about 3 years ago. And we'll tell our story, I guess, in a little more detail shortly, but want to introduce yourself, Greg?
Yeah, so I'm Greg, Ash's co-host. So I've been into the paranormal since I was little. I used to watch The X-Files when it first came out, so I'm that old. And there was a program called Arthur C. Clarke's World of Strange Mysteries, and I used to watch that, and it used to freak me out. It was one about the Enfield poltergeist, and yeah, it just freaked me out, but I used to watch it and just sort of stayed in touch with the paranormal. Then I got into UFOs for a bit, and then joined and started a couple of paranormal teams in Whitney, where I am. And then met Ash during lockdown.
Nice love story. Yeah. So, how did the pair of you meet then?
So we were. It's very random. We were both sort of played online poker, and there's a group called Michael Ballers on Facebook, and we were both made like admins of that Facebook group. And then the group had loads of admins for some reason, and there was like a group chat for all the admins. Now, I'd never spoken to Greg properly, never even really said much, but I have a UFO website, so I just get I post links in there saying, visit my website, it's new and all this. And Greg just one day said, oh, I'm into UFOs and paranormal stuff. Sent me a message and said, I always wanted to do a podcast. Would you be interested in starting one? Never spoken to him before. So I was like, yeah, cool, let's do it. 2 weeks later, we had our first episode launched. And now that's coming up to almost 300 episodes, and 3 years ago in December.
So you guys haven't
come from there.
Oh, and you guys haven't really met that much in person, have you? Only kind of, or no, just kind of more on the podcast, really, isn't it?
Yeah, we've met up a few times, sort of in the over the last year, a bit more.
About 5 times altogether.
Yeah,
3 years.
It's a long way.
Yeah, I bet.
But yeah, we've met up a few times, but yeah, it's good. It was strange meeting him for the first time. It's like this little romance going on. And it was Cannock Chase we met for the first time.
An investigation on Cannock Chase probably 2 years ago now. 2 years ago this summer. When we went out there and did some investigations down in Cannock. So I live in Manchester and Greg lives in Oxford, so it's about 3.5 hours between us. So yeah, we've not had that many chances to actually meet in person, but we spend hours every week doing the podcast, and we do 2 episodes a week on the podcast, so we're always chatting over calls, interviewing. So
or messaging.
Or messaging.
Yeah, all the time.
Pretty much.
Oh. Just going back to something that you said earlier, Ash, with you saying about when you were 10, you had a sort of UFO experience. Can you tell me a bit more about that, about what happened? And
yeah, so I know I was 10. I know that it was 1997 because it was when the Hale-Bopp comet was visible in the UK for about 3 months in the summer of 97. And we were just out one night. It was quite a clear night, so there was a group of kids, including me, a couple of adults, just out in the street, just looking at the comet. It's just, comets don't do much when they're there. They're just visible, just sat in the sky. But we were out looking at it, and all of a sudden someone said, "What's that?" And there's just a typical black triangle, one light in each corner, just moved in a straight line, just all the way across the sky. Took about a minute to get across the sky, and we all saw it. So I was like, "That's not a plane. Don't know what that is." And then since then, I was just like, "What was that?" And that just opened up my whole interest. That became like a lifelong hobby of mine.
Oh, I've actually seen three dots myself in a triangle shape in the sky, but it was pitch black, so I just saw the dots and they travelled. My first thing thinking, you don't realise it's a weird UFO type thing until afterwards, and you process it and you're like, what was that? And I was out with an ex-boyfriend when I was a teenager, and we were out UFO watching, and it just travelled across the sky, these 3 little lights, and then split up, come back together, and then went away. See, I've never seen anything like that, to be honest. No, I've never, but I don't look for it though. I don't look for things in the sky that often, but
you should do.
I know, maybe I should.
What's weird about that one was, like, there's quite a few of us, and like the kids sort of just all went back playing football. The adults wandered off, and I was left like, this kind of changed the whole direction of my life. No one else seemed bothered about it afterwards. So I was like, you just saw that, I don't know what it is. Why is no one wanting to know what it is? It only seems to be me that was bothered about it, but just weird how different people have different kind of reactions to seeing stuff. And I was only 10 at the time.
Oh,
I'd have been 1 then. 97.
I'd have been 9. No, 7, nearly 8. Yeah, nearly 8. Oh,
97. Is that?
Go on, do the damage. Do the damage.
20.
Oh gosh.
Wow.
Oh god.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like the old one in the room.
You're not old. You're not old.
It is my mum. Sorry.
Pardon? I'm the same age as your mum.
Tony's a lot younger than us. Yeah.
I'm younger than them. I'm the baby. Sorry.
She's the baby. How many years younger are you now? 7?
6. I'm 27.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Lovely. Thanks.
Sorry. Absolutely insulted you. Sorry.
Oh, no. You're not old.
No.
Thank you.
Well, we've seen a lot now on Facebook. You have a book that you're bringing out, or is out already. It's currently sat in my Amazon basket actually, but I'm waiting until payday on Thursday. But it's sat there. So can you tell us a little bit more about your book? What was the process like? How did you start?
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, we were interviewed by Hillbilly Horror Stories podcast. I don't know if you've heard of them. Very big podcast in the US. And we were chatting to them afterwards just about podcasting. They do it full time, which we don't. And they were talking about how many episodes they put out a week, because we were talking that we were putting one out at that time, and they put one out every day. But they put shorter form episodes, like 10, 15, 20-minute episodes. And that sort of struck an interest with Ash. And Ash, at one point we were getting nearly up to 4 episodes a week, which is brutal. And
What did you find the time to do that?
We didn't. That was the problem. We didn't. It was a nightmare. So we thought we could put an episode out sort of mid sort of, we release as every Tuesday. We were going to put one out on, say, a Saturday, so sort of almost halfway between, so people got stuff to listen to at the weekend. Or if you're on a shorter journey, like car journey, like Ash is about half hour to work, 20 minutes to work, and you can listen to a short one there and back. And I work at the top of the road where I live, so I only get 5 minutes because I'm lazy and I drive. But we decided we would do like a series of sort of like short episodes, and we decided that we loved America. We've been to America multiple times each, and it's a really cool place. And we decided that, well, there's 50 states, that could be 50 episodes. That's a year's worth of content, pretty much. And we started alphabetically and went through every state from Alabama up to Wyoming. That's right. And and we took each one of, like, both of us, we would alternate the weeks. I would do Alabama, Ash would do the next one, and we'd talk about like paranormal events or weird stuff that happens in that particular state. So that took us to the end of the year, and then we decided that we'd move on to something else, which was a haunted pub crawl. And we decided that actually we've got a lot of content there that we could use as almost like a companion series to the episodes. And then we just started to write the book last year, and this year it's come out. So yeah.
Has it always just been you two involved in making the book? Anyone else been involved, or have you just kind of done it all yourself?
All self-published. Hats off to Ash, because he's the one who sorted out like the Amazon side of it and the publishing side of it. So,
yeah, I believe you're responsible for the artwork as well.
Yes. Yeah, I am. Yeah.
And I know that the stories that you chose, they're not quite. They're not known. They're lesser known, aren't they? The ones that you've chose. Like you said, I know you said you thought you could include Area 51, but it's just so common.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's so many other books that we'll have about things like that, like Area 51 and all of your like your big names, really, aren't they? So the unheard smaller stories are the ones that I think I would prefer. The less mainstream horror, like things that the hauntings and
that's kind of the whole ethos for our podcast when we got started, because it's a kind of less known stuff. Like, for example, our very first episode was talking about the Yowie, which is like Australia's Bigfoot. Instead of talking about like Sasquatch or Bigfoot that everyone knows about, or the Yeti, we couldn't really add anything to that. Whereas I think with Yowie, Greg had never heard of it. I was aware of it, but didn't really know much about it. And I think in the UK, there's not much talk about like the Yowie or the Orang-Deck and other types of Bigfoot. We thought we'd go down that route of sort of we can add something. And the year we started the podcast was the 40th anniversary of the Rendlesham Forest UFO incident, which is a massively famous case, one of the famous cases in the world. I'm a big UFO guy. It is a case I got a lot of interest in. When it came to that anniversary at Christmas in 2020, well, there's no point talking about it because everyone knows about it. It's nothing. I don't think there's anything that we can add that's new or different. Everyone else is talking about it, so what's the point? So we did a Rendlesham episode where we talked about other stuff that happened, because there's UFO reports previous to the one in 1980. There's all sorts of weird paranormal stories, like Black Shuck dog down there. There's the wild man that was caught in a net in the water. There's all sorts like the stories of the devil in a church down in Suffolk. stuff like that. So we went to Endlesham, like, in the podcast, but didn't talk about the famous incident. We talked about other incidents that happened, like, in the same area, sort of, rather than doing the famous story, do the less known ones. That's sort of been kind of done throughout the whole podcast, really.
Yeah, I bet it'd be really interesting to do that, though, to research all the little stories, and it would make me want to do a real life US road trip to see all these little locations.
Yeah, I would. I'd like to do one in the UK though. See, I think it'd be really good. Do you know how you do your pub crawls in the UK?
Mhm.
I think having a book of that would be good.
There we go. Oh, right, okay. I think that would be good. Yeah, I do like reading things like that. I don't like quite reading. I can read history on places, but I like to hear the stories with it. That makes it more interesting and easier to read, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like at Newton Park, how we were told, like, anyone can know the history of it, but it's the stories of the people that were in there, isn't it? The stuff that's lesser known. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, that is good. Oh, good. Okay. Well, I won't probably any more about that.
Well, we did talk about it the other day. So there is a book being written as we speak about haunted pubs. So that should be out soon, hopefully.
Have you ever been to any pubs, any haunted pubs in the UK, except for obviously King's Head? Are there any pubs that strike you that you have been to? We've not been to any apart from there, really. We've got it all on our bucket list.
I would like to go to Ring of Bells.
Yeah.
So my ghost experience, probably the most striking one, happened in a pub in Knutsford, so not too far away from us. The Lord Eldon in Knutsford. That's got a couple of stories itself anyway. And so we used to go there, I think it was on a Monday evening, to play like pub poker night on a Monday. So we were just there one Monday night, and around 10 o'clock, the guy that runs it, Dave, he was caring for his wife, so he had to leave around 10 o'clock. So he would leave first, and then we'd carry on playing poker. This particular night, he'd left, and we just carry on playing. And where we played, it's like the back room of the pub, and there's nothing in there. There's no like throughway. There's a couple of toilets, but only the sort of toilets for us. There's more toilets in the main bar, which is through a door to my left. There's nothing in there, so unless you were going there to play poker, you wouldn't have a reason to go into that room. It was like kind of our room. So I was just there. Dave had left. I was sat facing the table with the door to the bar on my left, and I saw what I thought was Dave come back in. Door opened, somebody walked in, and I saw them like in your peripheral vision walk in and stand behind my right shoulder. So I saw someone come in and stand behind me, and then he said something like to the table. No one responded. Like no one looked up. No one answered him. Somebody just not wanting to be rude sort of turned to say, like, what did you say? And there's no one there. I was like looking round, like, what's going on? So I said to the group, like, did Dave just come back in? And my mate who was sat facing the door was like, no, nobody's coming. I was like, so Dave. And she was like, what's up? Like, you seen the ghost? And I was like, think I just have. As I saw somebody come in the door, walk behind me, on my right hand shoulder, and say something. I don't know what he said, it's just I heard a voice. It's only because no one else answered him. I didn't want to be rude. I looked up, but there was nobody in there.
Wow. Oh, that's
and
so
that was in the Lord Eldon.
That's so strange. Cool. One of my first paranormal experiences, I'd say I was very, very young, maybe 6 or 7, and I remember I'd lost a tooth that day, and I was waiting for the tooth fairy, and I was laying on the top bunk, Sarah on the bottom, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and there was 5, I think 5, I'm just pulling a random number, but there was about 5 little dots, and they were blue, and they just floated in the middle of the bedroom, right the way across, and as I got up out my covers to be like, what was that? They just flashed and disappeared, and I dived under my covers, and I was sweating, and I was scared. I don't know what it was. I guess you could say, and I hate to say that word, an orb, for people who don't believe in them. But it was the strangest experience. Yeah. And I don't know what it is. Tell about the when you looked out in where were you? Were you in a caravan and you saw something fly? Oh right, this creeps me out. Where I'm guessing like mythical creatures. Are you on the like Bigfoot? Like you sort of cryptids, Sarah. Well, I know, but you know the name, you know. That sort of thing. Well, last year, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't last year. About 4 years ago now. Last year. It wasn't last year. It was about a decade ago. Not that many kids. I've lost which one it was. I was just born. So I was in a caravan on a holiday, and I woke up in the middle of the night at 1 o'clock, and I remember checking my phone, and I looked out and up in the sky, and I thought it was a seagull at first, until again, like you get that delay when your brain processes what you've just seen, and there was this huge bird, like a dinosaur. I cannot explain it, and I'm going to sound absolutely mental now. And I was looking, and it was flying around the sky, but like not just flapping its wings, it was proper like wafting these big massive wings, and it circled, and I was staring, mesmerized. I was that mesmerized by what I was looking at, and I couldn't comprehend. I didn't even think to get my phone out. And it sort of just flew off into the distance by the coast, and I was like, what was that? And I woke up and I was like, did I dream it? Did I not? But I'd seen something. It was bright white and it was flying in the sky. That's why I thought it was a seagull. See, again, I have never. So weird. I've never.
Where were you?
Where was I? No, it wasn't. Oh my God. Carla Grant, so it was only in Fleetwood, in a caravan park around there. It wasn't anywhere special. So I was like, what? It's just the delay where your brain looks at something and can't comprehend what you're seeing.
Yeah.
But it was you could tell it was big because of the way its wings were like proper.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Wafting.
Yeah. Wafting.
I know, and it's like it just flew off. Not flapping, wafting. Wafting. Wafting.
Wafting.
But no. So I don't know if you've ever seen anything like that. Have you ever experienced anything like that yourselves? Just
the only UFO experience I've had was, weirdly, I was on Big Thunder Mountain, I think it was, at Disneyland Paris, and it was about 11:30 at night, and like the parade was on. So that was the time that we all went on and took the kids on the little rides and all the other rides where there was no queues. And for some reason, I'd looked up and there was what appeared to be sort of in the sky, like a white, almost like a fried egg shaped thing. And it was glowing. It was bright. It wasn't like, I don't know what it was. And it moved across the sky, and then we came off the ride, and I was like, did anybody else see that? They said no, and I never saw it again. But it was the weirdest thing. It definitely wasn't a plane. 100% it wasn't a plane. But
I feel a bit left out. Have you ever had anything like that, Tony?
See, I've seen things, but then questioned whether I've actually seen something or not because it's happened so fast. So I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Like when you see something and you think, did I just see that, or was that like my? I don't know what it was or what it could have been.
Yeah, I guess. Sarah's
it's funny because. Go on, sorry.
No, you go. You got there first.
I was going to say, it's when people see strange stuff, because we speak to a lot of people, when they see a lot of strange things that the brain isn't used to seeing, so like any kind of UFO experience, it seems to happen a lot. They have something like a screen memory, and they start seeing like objects that aren't there. So we've spoken to people that have seen owls. Some people have seen like tree trunks, anything like that, where your brain is trying to make sense of what it's seeing. So it tries to find the most recognizable and sort of similar thing that it knows it's seeing, because half the time there's stuff that have never really been seen by humans before. So your brain doesn't know what to sort of picture it. It can't figure out what it is. So
makes sense.
Sorry, I interrupted.
No, it's fine. It was just rubbish anyway. What I was going to say. Just before you can, in fact, you say yours, and then I've got another question about some UFO events
I don't have anything to
that I've seen. The experience you had as a child. Oh yes, right. So, who did that? Did I do that?
Yeah,
you just did
pressed
it, Sarah. I didn't press it. I just
Okay, well, it's on
anyway. Sorry, there's going to be a lot of it. I'm going to have to call that out. Yeah, right, okay. Well, Sarah had an experience when we were younger. Yeah, it was, if it's the same one I'm thinking about, or you're thinking about, we had bunk beds, and I was on the bottom bunk bed, and you were on the top, and I remember I just woke up in the middle of the night, and there was somebody stood. It was a child, but it was like a version of me and Emma, like as if we would have had a triplet. It was a version of us two.
Me.
I know. It was you, Tony. No, it was like me and you mixed together. What year was it? Was it when you were born? Go on. So we're on the bottom bunk bed, and there was this person, a child, stood there that was like a mix between me and you, and it was just stood there straight, looking up onto the top bunk at Emma, and I thought it was her, but then I realised that Emma was actually asleep. And I don't know if you've ever had bunk beds, but if you look down the crack of the bunk bed, and you can usually like see a hand or something from the other person at the top. Well, I'd looked to the side and I could see a hand, and I knew that she was up there, but this thing was just stood in the bedroom looking up at the top bunk, and I swiped my arm like this through it, and it didn't react, it didn't flinch, it didn't move, it just faded away. It just faded, and I was so scared. But it was like us. It was like another one of us, and it wasn't us, but it was like us. It's one of them stories that would just get told of. Oh, you're just a kid with an imagination.
Yeah, imagine it.
No one would actually take it as anything. Yeah, but it really stuck with me, and it really did. It freaked me out.
Maybe it was meant to be.
I know. Maybe. Yeah. Right. What I wanted to ask was, I saw on Facebook. This one's for you, I think, Ash. A UFO event that you did. Was it last week that you attended? Well, what was it? It was, you shared the post.
I go to.
I can't remember where it was, but I googled it because I wanted to come.
Was it the Skywatch?
Yeah, I think it was. That rings a bell.
Yeah, we had the Skywatch last Sunday in Wigan.
Yeah, I think
that. As part of our group, we have monthly meetings in Manchester, we have meetings in Liverpool, Warrington, St Helens, and we have Skywatches around the northwest. At least one Skywatch a month, and plus 2 or 3 little meetings, so we just get together in a pub and talk about UFOs. So yeah, last Sunday we had Skywatch in Wigan, top of Parbold Hill in Standish. It's good night. It was always good just to get out there. You didn't really see anything, but just being out there, because you see a lot of things. So when you actually take the time just to sit there, relax, look at the sky, you see so many things that you don't usually see. Especially like in Manchester, it's so much light pollution. You can't see anything, but go out somewhere a little bit into the country, only a little bit, you only need to go a little bit, just to see so much more difference. All right, you see satellites all the time, see the space station going across, see all sorts. It's just good to just get out there and just connect and just think. And like say, Sarah, if you're not seeing anything, if you go out and look, you will see something. Yeah,
because I do like it when there's no light pollution. I do look up to the sky, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just. I don't know. It just you need the time and the patience. But I did see that and thought, I wonder what that is. But I obviously couldn't go. But no, it just sounded interesting.
Yeah. I just recently had a meteor shower as well, because I watched that. And
Perseids has just been.
I took a picture of a shooting star, and I've got it on the video. I've got a video of it. It's quite cool.
Yeah.
I've got a funny story about the Perseids, actually. So a few years ago, it was the peak, usually the peak around the 13th or 14th of August. And I was at, I used to live in Warrington at the time, and there's, at the top of a hill, there's the church and there's a graveyard connected to it. And it's a good place to go, so it overlooks the whole of the northwest, like Widnes, Warrington, St Helens. So on like sky watches and stuff, we go up there, especially during the meteor showers. It got quite busy when there's like stuff going on in the sky. There was nowhere really to park or sit. We just went and sat in the graveyard itself. So it's quite splat, there's no street lights. Just get a blanket out, lay down, on my back, just lay there watching the stars, watching the meteors going across. About half an hour later, 2 girls come into the graveyard. There's no one else in the graveyard. Their mind's pitch black. And they sit about 2 meters away from me in the graveyard. They don't know I'm there, but it's pitch black and I'm silent. I'm just lay there, completely silent. So I'm lay there thinking, they don't know I'm here. And they're chatting like teenage girls do about all sorts of things. They're probably about 16, 17. And then I thought, got to move at some point. I can't just lay here quiet forever. So I thought, I'm going to have to just get up and thingy. So I just sort of just threw myself up to get on my knees, and they absolutely shit themselves as they went across, because it's pitch black. It's like 1 a.m. in a graveyard. They think they're on their own in this graveyard in the middle of the night. These 2 girls. Next minute, the guy next to him just appears, stands up literally a meter away from him. It's funny, but they were absolutely terrified. I knew it was going to happen, but I don't know how to not scare him. I can't just talk, because that's quite scary.
But you were hoping that it just see, I would have revelled in that moment and took my opportunity and just gone and been like, yes. Oh, right. So getting into so I know last time we spoke, we kind of briefly touched on other life and aliens and extraterrestrials, UFOs, and what our thoughts were, but we didn't really fall down the rabbit hole. I think we should fall a little bit down the rabbit hole. Oh, damn. So, last time when we were on your podcast, I mentioned that I think we've kind of been left behind out there. Do you think there is a huge gap in our history, somewhere in our civilization, over these many, many years, where it's been erased and they've moved on and they've left us? That's what I think. And I want to know what you think about that, because I am pretty sure there is a lot we don't know. See, I've got a bit of a theory when it comes to technology, and there's from like the 1910s up to the 1950s, or not much technology-wise happened, and it progressed, but not the way that the last 50 years has sort of bam. Technology's just, I don't know. I feel like we were given the information, we were given something, and we've gone with it. We've got this technology from somewhere, and we've gone, can't explain it. But my theory is it's just expanded and come on so quick, even in the last 10 years. I don't know. I know what you mean, but I don't know. I feel like we've just been abandoned. I don't think anyone's given us anything. I just feel like, I don't. So what's your theory on it?
Right.
So, there is a theory that around about 12,000 years ago, that an event took place, like a global event, and a lot of ancient civilizations were wiped out. For example, Graham Hancock talks about it. We've got Dave Smethurst, who comes on our podcast. He talked about ancient civilizations, and we're going to be following up on that. But there was like a cataclysmic event about 12,000 years ago, which sort of changed everything. So, for example, Atlantis sort of got wiped out of history about 10,000, 12,000 years ago. And a lot of advanced civilizations sort of went missing, and the technology went missing. So I think, we were more advanced than we are now. But back then, how, I don't know. But when they're building the pyramids, and in the Egyptian times they were talking about gods that came down from the skies on chariots of fire, so which is like a typical UFO and like an alien or extraterrestrial or whatever they are. When I first started the podcast, I thought all aliens were extraterrestrial, but now I'm not so sure. I think they're more closely aligned to Earth, and depending on what you believe, interdimensional is one way that a lot of these events can take place and things can disappear and reappear really quickly. And then we were talking on the podcast of the week with Dave Smethurst. Ash wasn't there, unfortunately, but we were talking about a civilization of Earth that went underground a long time ago, thousands of years ago, and they could be responsible for some of the UFO stuff that we're seeing now. But it's, who knows? It seems insane that we could build these pyramids with these 1,000-ton blocks with no real technology.
Yeah, they didn't have cranes and everything.
No, they didn't.
It's just mental.
There's a guy who, I think it was on TikTok, he was saying that there was a hole that was drilled with such precision, sort of thousands of years ago, that they don't know how it was done by hand. It's a kind of hole that would be drilled with mechanical precision, something you'd get from like a hand drill or something like that. Like, how they did it, how? Like, so it's like the pyramids. How have they built the pyramids? How have they done that? Like,
because the bricks are huge and weigh tons, so it would have took a lot of effort.
Yeah, it would take.
Well, the thing is, the chambers in the Great Pyramid, they all line up to celestial events with like absolute accuracy. So I don't know how they could have done that without some kind of advanced knowledge, at least, whether or not that's been handed down to them or given to them. And we're talking now in the congressional hearings in the US about non-human intelligence and non-human biologics, which suggests that there's potentially a non-human element to a lot of stuff that we're seeing. But Ash is the expert on that.
Yeah, I saw that when it went viral, then the clips of I'm not exactly sure on the details, I never watched the whole thing, but I did coming out saying that, is it the US government or somebody was saying they'd confirmed that there are non-human remains were found or something along those lines. And it was quite a big deal because, like you said, I think, Ash, on the podcast with Pendro, that sort of environment and what they were saying to that stature was like, oh my God. And I agree with you. Because you don't think they're gonna ever come out with something like that. And they're normally very careful with the wording, aren't they? And it was just out there. So I think I don't know. I think about it.
But that was David Grush, and he was under oath, giving his testimony to Congress. Where if you're found to be lying under oath, then you get like probably jail, stripped of everything because you're taken oath. Because he's a high level, or he was high level security intelligence officer, and he was saying that he had given names, locations, details of projects that dealt with crash retrievals of unknown craft. These bodies being non-human biologics being recovered. Like, he had all this information. And he couldn't say it in public because it was like classified information, but he had given that information to the appropriate people. And he's saying that this is all true. And for that to be, a lot of people have said that in the past. It's all been like, oh, we got this, but I've got no evidence, but this happened, but I can't prove it. Whereas now he's saying it under oath to testimony, saying that he's given this information to like the high ups in the American government. It's just absolutely insane. And he mentioned about technology the last 50 years or so has just exponentially just gone. There's a couple of theories around that. One is that, again, crash retrievals. Have we recovered a alien spacecraft that's got the technology? We've been able to reverse engineer it, and that's given us things like fiber optics this type of technology which we're now using to obviously pass information quickly, which is the main thing really, is the information being able to be processed very, very quickly. Whereas 50 years ago, like, you told someone you can speak to your auntie in Australia, in the UK, and see them while you're talking to them, that'd be absolutely, like, there's no way they could even explain that to them.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's just a part of life in past 20 years really for that type of technology. And another theory is that we have been handed it. There's certain people that are chosen by whatever, and they are given this information, these inventions that they make because of information they've been given. So they then build this technology. So you see people like, Greg, what's his name? Free power guy.
Oh, Nikola Tesla.
Yeah, Nikola Tesla. People like that, where they just have all these mad ideas and inventions that have basically changed the world. It's like, where are they getting information from? How did they think of this stuff?
Yeah.
Like, one certain person just has that information. Has he been fed somehow that information to then make it?
Yeah.
That's just, like, again, there's a couple of theories around how we're just so technologically advanced in the past 50, 60 years.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that, again, we can't comprehend or say otherwise, because the universe is that big, and the ability that we are able to travel, we just can't. With the technology that we've got now, there's absolutely no way of saying that way out there, where we haven't even explored yet or even know exists, there isn't aliens, other extraterrestrial, whatever, that has the technology to visit us, that are far more advanced than we are. You just can't rule it out, because the universe is that complex. It's got to be complex.
See, do you know what though?
I have a theory about, unless you find like a hole, a wormhole type thing, where, like a piece of paper, when you bend it, two ends of the universe, and you can go right through the middle that way rather than this way.
Could it be that we are that far away from another civilization that when they're looking, they might have all this technology, but when they're looking back at like the universe, like universes and space, and when they're looking through it, we're that far away that don't even exist.
We don't exist to them yet.
To them,
because of the way that light and travels,
and know that we're even here, because we're here, but we are that far away from them.
Yeah, we've not happened yet.
Yeah, and it's the same.
It's like crazy, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. It scares me. Like I said when we did the podcast with you, the space just scares me and baffles me at the same time. I don't like thinking about it, because it's got to be something. It is something. How can it be nothing? How can it not be? It is something. It exists. What is it?
It's a vacuum. So
it's an ongoing black space. What is it?
But it's a vacuum. So a vacuum has to be within something.
I don't know.
But here's right. I have another theory as well that I might be a bit off it here.
This is the rabbit hole.
No, but I think, do you know the Big Bang, right? I think this has all happened before. I think it's been well and truly advanced, and we've done all of this before, if not many times, and suddenly, for whatever reason, it's exploded. We know there are planets.
We would never know.
We know there are planets out there that have got evidence of like riverbeds and evidence of life, and things like I don't know, that structures that can't be explained on other planets, telescopes, things like that. I think whatever was here before has exploded, scattered out into space, and we are just one of those little segments that has retained a little bit of life, and it's just carried on.
And when they get fed up of us, we'll explode and the cycle will start again. You know what you're saying?
Kind of, but not when. Who are they? When who get fed up of us? Who are they?
Exactly, Sarah.
Exactly. No. I just think that this has happened before, and they probably thought, "Oh God, this is going wrong."
Yeah, the big red button somewhere in the universe.
The big red button is that big vacuum of something within something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's.
Do you know what I'd love to do? I'd love for us all to get together and go and find a little spooky, creepy pub somewhere and just chat about this.
Come to my basement.
You did.
That's creepy when you say it quite like that, Ash.
Sorry, Ash.
I've got. I said to Greg, because like you all mentioned, just like I need to invite him into my basement, and then Greg was like, "Yeah, that sounds really, really creepy."
It does sound creepy, but what's your basement?
It's cool.
It's weird.
Yeah, is it? Why is
It's
it?
weird.
Why?
So we've been down there a couple of times doing a couple of investigations. It's a massive old building that's been converted into like 10 apartments now. It's about 200 years old, this building. And you go into the basement and it's like the outside, but inside. So it's like outside walls and outside windows, but
It's
in
weird.
the middle of the house. It's really old stuff. Like you can see what used to be kitchens down there. We think potentially it's like servants' quarters down there. So like kitchens and stuff like that down there. It's really old stuff, like the old foundations and rocks and tables and stuff like made out of brick. We had a really weird experience down there where we were just recording. We'd done the Estes method down there, and we were kind of doing like a bit of a Facebook. Well, we were recording it ready to do like a Facebook video of us down there. And we've been in this room, no one else down there. You can tell when someone comes down. And we were just wrapping up. So Greg's recording, he says, "Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for watching." Just basically wrapping up the video. Next minute, to the door, it's like these old wooden doors. Something must be like a big rock or something is thrown at the wall just outside where we were stood, like just outside the room. So thankfully, Greg was still recording, so we caught it on video. Which was, we had like not much happen, and all of a sudden this massive, like loud bang on just outside the door. Like, it's like a rock had been thrown at the wall next to us. That was really, really freaky. I mean, I don't go down there on my own, but
I wouldn't go down your own way.
Went to Greg's
I
basement.
know, yeah. No, Ash's basement.
Ash's
Go
basement.
to Ash's basement. Well, we'll come to your basement at the time. We'll be there. Don't you worry. Yeah.
It's a very creepy place. It's very creepy.
we had one experience, and I went down with my brother and his girlfriend a couple of years ago on Halloween, because she's a bit into it, and she's more like, "Oh, it's Halloween, let's go to your basement and do a Ouija board." I was like, "Okay," so we're down there doing a Ouija board. I'm not big on Ouija boards, but I'll give it a go. But my brother's a bit, can take the piss a little bit, especially like, I don't want you to do it, I want to do it properly, because he'll mess about. So my brother went off to like the other side of the basement. It's a massive, massive cellar. There's about 12, 13 rooms in this big, massive place. Weird rooms and rooms that are locked off and small rooms, and it's just weird. So anyway, we're doing a Ouija board. We're getting some responses, and so we're asking questions, we're getting answers, and we kind of deduce from these answers that there's a little girl who's killed in a fire. Quite a typical scary ghost story, tragic one. And then 5 minutes later, my brother comes back, who's right on the other side, nowhere near where we were doing it. He's back and he's like, "I smell smoke. I could smell smoke." Then a few minutes ago, and it's just like, we were talking about fire, like being killed in a fire, and then he was smelling smoke. And he said like it wasn't like cigarette smoke; it was like burning smoke.
Yeah.
So we went looking, couldn't find where it's coming from, but it's just a little weird sort of thing that happened.
See, I'm a paranormal person. I like my theories, but I'm a spirit paranormal person. Love it. Love a ghost story. I like that kind of stuff. But yeah. Oh, yeah,
I have to
definitely.
get in the basement. Yeah, I'll find the video. I've got it on my laptop,
Yeah, I
so
was
I'll.
just gonna say, if you've got the video, yeah.
Oh yeah, we definitely have. Yeah, I'll send it over. And it captures our reaction because I was still recording at that moment. So
Oh yes.
yeah,
Good.
it's weird.
Do you know, we watched an interesting video earlier, didn't we, Emma? Found one that was really convincing. Now, we are not massive table
No,
tipping
we are not at all,
fans.
Sarah, not at all.
Not at all, no. But we have to be open. We are open, Emma. Yeah, so we were watching. Sorry, I cut you off. It's because I'm excited about it. We were watching this guy. I can't remember his name. He sent me a friend request, and I've left it pending for a while because I've got no mutual friends, nothing in common. I'm like, who are you? But she still had a good start. But I had a good start. And as I was having a stalk of his profile, there was a video He's a medium, but he did a vigil with a few ghost hunters, and they were all in this what looked like a basement, and someone was recording it, and they were with a table. And now for me, if you're doing table tipping, if it tips, no, I want to see that table levitate on its own, fly across the room. Yeah. Now this guy and these two other women, they think that we think they're guests, but this table literally flies out of their hand, and there's in a way that cannot be pushed. And we were like, oh my god, like that to me is like, wow, like it's not just a table going, ooh, no. It's if we can speak to that guy about getting this. I'll send you the video. I'll send it right now. Send it now. I will. If we can speak to the guy about putting the video in here, it's the way it moves is it just moves in such a strange. You could say that the guy maybe pushed it, but apparently the girls are kneeling on the knees. He would have had his foot on that table, and because it's such a small table, when you realise they're on the knees, I don't think he could have pushed it without getting away with it. But this one, it scared me. She'll send it you now. But I'm just finding the. Sorry, I will cut all this out. Look how it moves. Watch this table. Send it. I was just finding the bit. Sorry. Crazy. So this guy, I immediately accepted his friend request, and I'm jumping straight in his inbox because I want to know more to that story and who he is. He must have seen me on a paranormal page and just sent me a friend request. Right. Sorry, I was putting the video down. Right. Okay. And then we're sending it. Things like this is like the evidence I want to see. Yeah, and I mean, poor girl on this video though, when you hear the audio, she's absolutely petrified afterwards. When you watch the full 2-minute thing, she is crying. She's like, oh my god. But again, the guy could very easily have shoved it, but I don't know, when you watch it on a big screen, you can't see how he could have got away with it. I mean, you can't see his feet, so you can't rule it out. It's a very convincing piece of footage. It was very well done if it was done. Is it not playing?
I'm watching it. It is weird how it just...
I can't see it. No, for some reason. Wait there. I've had it come through. I'll just try on my phone. I can see it on my phone. Yeah. Yeah.
What time? I want to order food. Has it done it? I know. Oh, do you know? That's the one. I'm gonna have to. This is what we do, right? We just go off on one, and sometimes we stop and start, and I have to edit everything out.
Interesting video.
It's interesting, yeah. It is. Definitely. Right. Well, yeah, we're gonna have to. So, tell us about MINICON.
So, MINICON is a conference that UFO Identified put on each year. We did the first one in Preston in 2021, and that sold out. So we did it again in 2022 in Manchester, bigger venue, and that sold out. And we are back for 2023 in Manchester again on Sunday the 15th of October. Bigger venue again, the same venue, but we're releasing more tickets, and we are close to selling out. We've got the UFO conference, and we've got 6 speakers delivering talks about different aspects of the UFO kind of phenomena. People that haven't given talks before, so brand new information. We've got a serving West Midlands Police firearms inspector giving a talk about police UFO encounters and sort of police approach. We've got Vinnie Adams and Dan Zetterstrom talking about dancing lights of Colombia. They've been out to Colombia twice investigating this weird phenomenon that happens in Colombia. We've got Dr. Daniel Stubbins, who's at Cardiff University lecturer, and he's got funding last year to do a study into the experiences and how it affects people afterwards, health-wise and mental health-wise, and how we can help people that have had UFO experiences in the future, because there's no support for anybody out there for people that have had experiences. When people get PTSD from experiences, people have life-changing encounters happen to them, people are getting abducted, and they have nowhere to go for support. So as part of his study is looking at experiences and how we can move forward to give people their support. He'll be giving a talk on his research and into that side of it. So yeah, Sunday 15th October in Manchester, And tickets available at UFOidentified.co.uk.
I'll be there. Selling
Great to
merch.
be there.
I know. Well,
I'm around the corner.
we
Why
are
not?
around the corner, aren't we? Really?
Yeah.
So, I mean, 3 more sales might just happen.
I may do a deal for you.
Oh, well, we will. We should go.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
should. We should.
We
There's no
should.
reason not to.
I know, exactly. It's good to get to know other people because we don't really delve into this side of paranormal, do we? We're just kind of
Yeah, and we are into it, but for some reason it feels a bit like people
a
think
bit alien.
a bit alien, yeah. People don't really yeah, you talk about UFOs and they're like, oh, one of them. Like, it doesn't seem as accepted as the other side of the paranormal, and we are really big believers in it anyway.
Yeah, it's not really. I don't know. People are very open to talking about the paranormal and spirits and entities and things like that, but we don't really talk about.
We'll have to be TwinvestigateUK, paranormal investigators, UFO chasers.
Rebrand.
Coming on our next Skywatch as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll have to.
Okay. Right.
All right.
Let's do a little wrap up. Sort of last
I feel
pieces
like we've
together.
talked about a little about a lot, and I don't think
We're
I've
not putting it out
enough.
straight away. We can always do it another day, though. We can add some stuff in, get back together
Yeah.
if you feel like there's not enough, or if anything we've missed out, because you won't be doing it right away, will you?
I can do. Well, I have to cut it all out. But...
Well, yeah, I mean the editing bit of it. It's not going to be out now like that.
No,
so,
it's
yeah,
not.
we can add some
Got
bits
3
in.
videos to edit. I am
Another pain.
to have no idea how many nights
We do, because you don't let us forget.
it's tedious, isn't it?
So depending when we come back on again, if we're going to do another bit, we may have done the thing that we're doing this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to
So-
have you back to talk.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will.
Okay.
Fab.
Okay, so
Right,
you're good at this. Like the roundups. Gathering all your chickens, so to speak.
Well, thank you for having a little chat with us, Greg and Ash. It was lovely to delve into lots of different little rabbit holes.
Definitely.
Thanks for joining us. Where can we get your book?
So the book is on Amazon. You just search for Paranormal United States. It's the top result most of the time, I think. I'll just look for my name on there. Actually, this is Greg Tomlinson. It's also available on our website. You can get signed copies. And that's pursuitoftheparanormal.co.uk/shop. So Amazon
And-
or our website.
And on the website now, as of a couple of days ago, you can get the digital version for e-readers that we've put up there. So it's an instant download. You can buy it and it will download straight off.
I like that.
Well,
We'll put all them links below then.
yeah,
Yeah.
we will put the links below. Yeah, fab, we will do.
Cool.
And another
Thank you.
person might come through again. And
We just need another t-shirt each.
we
for
just
the
need
event.
a t-shirt.
We need to buy one.
Get your t-shirts.
Yeah, honestly, I was looking the other day. Actually, I was looking at the t-shirts, and there were some other things on there as well that really piqued my interest. I didn't realize
I
there
want
was
that
such
3
a
ghosts one.
the new design,
Yeah.
The new one.
and your book is in my basket, so I will be purchasing that this week.
Thank you.
And on the website as well, we sell like K2 meters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
crystals and stuff. And,
Full spectrum cameras.
Cameras, so all sort of goes.
Not your own. Yeah, fingers in a lot of pies.
Definitely.
Well, thanks for the chat, guys. It was
Thank you.
Thank you, and we will
Thanks for having us.
speak again soon. So thank
Definitely.
you. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.